The Harok family murder took place in the early morning of the 22nd of May 2013 when 4 members of the Harok family, Veronica, her husband Martin, and her sons Philip and David were murdered in their home in Brno, Czech Republic's second largest city on the 23rd of May 2013. The Czech police charged in absentia 20-year-old U.S. national Kevin Dahlgren, Veronica Harokova's cousin, with committing the quadruple murder. At the time he was charged, Dahlgren was on a flight bound for Washington, D.C. Dahlgren spent 2 years and 3 months in custody in the U.S., fighting extradition. He was extradited on the 31st of August 2015, becoming the first United States citizen extradited to the Czech Republic. Dahlgren, who denied responsibility for the murders, faced life imprisonment in the Czech Republic if convicted in March 2016. The police closed their investigation and, a month later, the state attorney indicted Dahlgren for committing the 4 murders. Dahlgren, who was sentenced to life in prison on the 20th of July 2016, appealed the verdict, but in March 2017, the original ruling was upheld. According to media reports, Dahlgren committed suicide in prison in Valdis on the 11th of January 2018. The authorities reconstructed the incident as follows. In the early morning of the 22nd of May 2013, a girlfriend of one of the sons left the house at 6:40 a.m. Mrs. Harokova called the grammar school where she worked, saying that she had a bad headache and would take the day off. The police believed that she and 2 other victims were killed between this time and 8 a.m., which was when Mrs. Harokova's wristwatch stopped. A postwoman arrived at the door shortly before 9. The doorbell was answered by Dahlgren, who accepted the mail. 2 hours later, a cleaner came to the house, but was sent away by Dahlgren immediately after entering the hallway. Meanwhile, the 4th victim, David, who was at school, received text messages from Dahlgren's phone that they would go running after his return. David was probably murdered immediately after returning to the house around 12:30 p.m. Security cameras recorded Dahlgren leaving the house later in the afternoon. He took a taxi to the Vienna International Airport, 140 kilometers away, reaching the airport at about 5 p.m. The next day the Czech authorities issued an international arrest warrant for Dahlgren, who, it was later determined, had already passed through the passport control at Vienna International Airport before his name appeared in the international database subsequently. At around 1 p.m. the Austrian authorities alerted the crew of Austrian Airlines Flight OS 93 of the arrest warrant. The flight, carrying Dahlgren, had left Vienna at 10:46 a.m. and was at the time flying over the United Kingdom. After considering an emergency landing or returning to Vienna, the pilots decided it would be safer to continue the flight. The cabin crew were instructed to pretend to not know anything about the suspect on the flight. Immediately after landing at Washington Dulles International Airport, the plane was boarded by U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers, who arrested Dahlgren and turned him over to the FBI. The Czech police made it public that they considered Kevin Dahlgren the prime suspect only after his arrest in the USA, citing fears that he might have learned about his wanted status while on board the airplane, and react by endangering other passengers. According to media reports, Dahlgren committed suicide in Valdis prison on the 11th of January 2018.